Well, hello and welcome everyone to my channel. My name is Shedrick Chimboza and today I have something interesting that I want to share with you. So I'm going to talk about how to make hashtags and mentions clickable links in Django. So as you can see, after I click that mention, it then proceeds to take me to that user's profile. So I really think it's something that you might want to add to your website or to your blog. Let me show you an example of a hashtag. After I click that hashtag, it takes me to a page which displays all the posts with that hashtag. So if you think this video might be beneficial to you, go ahead, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And also, if you want source code for this social network, hit me up on Instagram. My username is ShadyCode. So let me show you the template that I'm going to use for this video. So as you can see, it's just a simple post template. And so for the sake of time, I've already moved my templates to the templates folder of my project. And I've already loaded the static and also changed the referencing. So if you don't know how to create a project, create an app, and how to set up your templates, go ahead, check my last video. So those are my static files, as you can see. But for this video, I'm just going to talk about one app, which is the web links app. So that's where I'm going to create my post models and also my views, and also set up my filter text for the clickable hashtag links. So if you know how to create models, you can go ahead to skip this part and go to the filter text part. So now what I'm doing is I'm creating my post model. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to create about 4 fields there. And then now I'm going to register my model in my admin file. So for those who are new to Django, that's how you do it. You just have to import your models and then use admin.site.register. It's just as simple as that. And after I do that, I go on to create my views. And for my views too, I'm just going to try to keep it simple. So I'm just going to create one view which loads the template and also displays the post. So let me show you how we do it. So the first line just loads the template, and then the second line just loads all the posts. It just like creates a query of all the posts, and then you just have to add the context, and after that you use the return HTTP request to return your templates and also your context. After I've created my views, I'll go on to create a URL for my views. So for the URLs too, I'm just going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to create one URL pattern which links to the view I've just created. And after I've done that, I'm going to include my app's URL in the main URLs. So after we've created our URLs, we move on to the gist of these videos, which will be creating custom template tags. Like that's how clickable hashtags are achieved. So now, first thing we want to do is create a Python package in our app, and then we'll name it template tags. Point of note, it should be template text, otherwise the Django won't be able to recognize it. So after we created the Python package, we create a new Python file in the package and we name it extra. You can name it whatever you want for this one. So to create our custom template text, first we have to import a bunch of functions and modules. So after you finished importing, you go on to write this next line. So for those who are confused, template library is just a library of all tags which are provided by Django. So that's where we're going to add our custom tag. So on next, we create a function which takes in a word and returns a link. So that's how the clickable links are formed. So on next, we're going to create the custom tag. So firstly, we want to add it to the library. So we use that add register.filter. So that's the custom tag which we're going to use to create clickable hashtags. So let me explain the code. So I will begin with MaxSafe. So MaxSafe just basically marks a string is safe or reusable in an HTML or XML. And so we move on to the next, which will be read.sub. So basically what it does is it searches and replaces a string in a text that matches a certain pattern. And that pattern could be hashtag something. So that's basically how it works. And the 3 arguments, which is the pattern and then the replacement and then the value or the argument. And conditional escape is just the same as escape, but then it won't work on pre-escaped strings. And Lambda, basically what it does is it takes a word with a hashtag, send it back to our pre-built function, and then that link that we get from the function will be used as a replacement. And now we do the same thing for our mention. And since it is the same thing, I don't think there is any explanation I should do. So we're just going to write the code. So after you finish writing that code, you'll be done. But then as a tip, if you're going to use this code, I recommend you to use the URL which I commented. Why? Because it gives you a better control. Like, as you can see, you just have to put the name of your pre-built URL and then the arguments. So the arguments help you search for the post with the related hashtag or the user profile. So now we move on to my template. And for my template, the first thing that I will do is to load my text. And since I named it extra, I'm just going to put in load extra there. And after I've done that, I'll put a for loop. So the loop will just load all the posts in my query set and display them here. So in case when it is empty, I'll go on to put the empty tag. So when my query set is empty, it will display you do not have any wood post, and I'll go on to close the for loop. And now if we're done, we're going to put code to load data for each post. And first we would like to load the username. So we're just going to use post.user.username. And after that, we'd like to load the time. So we're just going to replace that 31M with the code to load our time. And that's the code. So natural time is just a tag which helps you display your time in a better format. And now I'm just going to put in code to load the post caption, and that's the code. And as you can see, that's how we actually use our custom tags. We just use them there like after other tags. Like as you can see, the hashtag links tag and the user links tag. So since I'm done, I'll go into my settings to add natural time in my installed apps so that it can be accessible in my Django template. Otherwise, it will show you an error. And now I'm done with my code. So I'll go on to the terminal so that I can make my questions and also run the project. So I've made my migrations. Now I'll go on to run the project. And now it's running. So firstly, I'll go on to terminate the instance which was already running, and I'll try to run the URL. And oops, it's actually the URL of the project I created last time, but let me show you for those who didn't watch my last video. As you can see, it's actually a modal or pop-up login. Well, okay, I don't remember the user I created for this project, so I'm just going to leave there. But if you want to learn how to create a modal login, go ahead, check my last video. So now, as you can see, it actually displays you do not have any wood posts there. Reason being, I haven't created any post yet. So I'm just going to go to my admin to create a few posts so you can see how it works. Okay, so I'll go on to log into my admin dashboard using the super user. And now I'm in. So I'm just going to go to add post there so I can add a few posts. So as test data, I'm just going to put one hashtag and one mention. So I'll save that and go ahead and create another post. And now, since I'm done, I'm going to go to rerun the URL, and as you can see, it works. As you can see, the hashtag and the mentioned are clickable links. You can actually change the color of these links in your CSS, but for now, we're done. And like I mentioned earlier, you would want to change your URLs. I'm just going to mention it again, and I already explained the reason for this. So now we're going to exit. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, like and subscribe and follow for more.